On March 19, 2025, President Donald Trump held a highly anticipated phone call with Russian President Vladimir Putin. The key topic was a desperate plea for a 30-day ceasefire in war-torn Ukraine. Trump proposed the ceasefire as a crucial step towards ending the brutal conflict. However, Putin flatly rejected the proposal, dashing hopes for a swift resolution. Despite Putin's intransigence, Trump emerged from the call declaring it a success, emphasizing the potential for a negotiated settlement. He touted a contract for peace initiative, suggesting a path towards a more comprehensive agreement. This optimistic spin did little to mask the underlying tensions and the stark reality on the ground in Ukraine. Putin's rejection underscored his unwavering commitment to achieving his military objectives, regardless of the human cost. The call served as a stark reminder of the deep divisions and seemingly insurmountable obstacles on the road to peace. While Putin rejected the overarching ceasefire proposal, the phone call did yield a minor concession. He agreed to a temporary pause in attacks on Ukraine's energy infrastructure, aimed at alleviating the humanitarian crisis. This partial agreement, while a small victory for diplomacy, was met with cautious optimism. The White House presented a broad interpretation, suggesting a wide range of infrastructure would be protected. The Kremlin offered a more limited definition, leaving room for continued attacks on strategic targets. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky expressed deep skepticism about Putin's true intentions. He pointed to continued drone and artillery strikes as evidence of Russia's duplicity. Despite doubts, the agreement on energy infrastructure paved the way for further dialogue. Technical talks involving representatives from the United States, Ukraine, and Russia were scheduled to take place in Saudi Arabia. Putin's rejection of a full ceasefire was met with swift condemnation from the international community. European leaders voiced their outrage at Russia's continued aggression and disregard for international law. The United Kingdom announced plans to accelerate arms shipments to Ukraine. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson dismissed Putin's demands for a halt to Western military aid, arguing that peace could only be achieved through strength. The European Union unveiled plans to significantly increase its defense spending in response to the growing threat posed by Russia. The war grinds on, a grim reality check. Even as diplomats scrambled to salvage the fragile agreement on energy infrastructure, the brutal reality of the war in Ukraine continued unabated. Russian forces pressed on with their offensive, launching relentless attacks on Ukrainian cities and military positions. The fighting was particularly fierce in the eastern Donbas region. The human cost of the conflict continued to mount, with thousands of civilians killed and millions more displaced. Amidst the ongoing violence, there were glimmers of hope, such as a large prisoner exchange between Ukraine and Russia. However, it did little to change the overall trajectory of the war, which seemed destined to grind on for the foreseeable future. A world on edge. Shifting alliances and uncertain futures. The war in Ukraine sent shockwaves throughout the international system, upending long-held assumptions about the global order. The conflict exposed the deep divisions between Russia and the West, shattering any illusions of a post-Cold War partnership. The war's impact on the global economy was equally profound, leading to soaring prices and supply chain disruptions. As the war dragged on, its long-term consequences remained uncertain. One thing was clear: the world had entered a new era of geopolitical competition, characterized by heightened tensions and shifting alliances. The outcome of the conflict would determine whether the rules-based international order could be salvaged, or if the world was headed for a new era of instability and conflict.